Everything for topic 4. In topic 5, we're going to get to learn what's called inner functions. So an inner function, otherwise known as a nested function, is a function that is encapsulated or contained within another function. The interesting thing about these kind of inner functions is that they can only be called by the outer function. The rest of the program outside of that outer function has no awareness of the inner function. If you attempt to call it, it will actually fail. So here's an example where I have a function and inside of it is another function. So I have get a number and it takes number as a parameter. And then when that function is called, another function is run inside of it, or is created inside of it that says multiply number times 2, initial number, and then it takes that initial number, multiplies it times 2, and returns it. And then my outer function takes multiplied number and multiplies that number by 2 using the outer number. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm taking the number and I am passing that number from my outer function into my inner function, which is then doing the math, and it is returning the answer, which is then going to be assigned to this variable in my outer function, which will then be returned by my outer function. So really my outer function in this case doesn't do anything other than call my inner function. But I wanted to keep this one simple. And now I'm going to run it. And you can see that it turns into the number 14 because I sent 7. 7 gets passed from the outer function into the inner function here. And then the inner function multiplies it, passes it back to the outer function, which then returns it to main. So then it outputs it. So I could have done more than this with the outer function. In this case, it's just a wrapper around the inner function. I can also do it again. Oh, sorry, I wanted to show on this slide that if I try to directly call the inner function, I can't because I did not, this is inside of the other function, so it can't be called directly. So that's all I was trying to show here, and that's why I get the error. This is also a thing that you can do. I don't actually ask you to do anything with the assignment here, so this might just be an interesting topic for you to see. It's up to you whether you want to follow through this or not, but it is kind of interesting. There's a topic called factory functions, or a tool called factory functions, otherwise known as closures, that allow you to utilize a function to create other functions. And that's kind of a weird concept, but a single function can repeatedly create other functions. And I'm going to do that here in this example. Try to follow along if you can. So here I've got a function called createAnimal. And it takes an input of name. That function then calls an inner function called myPet. And myPet has... that function has an inner function called myPet. Pet has pet name, size, and legs. And it prints myPet as a blank. It is size blank. It has legs blank, etc. It's just basically a big statement. But the return here, the return from the function is actually returning the inner function. So the object that is getting returned is, in fact, a new function that didn't exist before. So all the outer function is doing is creating a function with a name. That function has the tools of the inner function in it. So if I run this, and I go to the next slide, now I'm going to create a function by calling my factory function and assigning it to a variable. So I'm saying, hey, call createAnimal. Remember, createAnimal. But this time I'm going to send a dog. So now I'm going to return a function with dog as the input, and it becomes myPetDog. And then I can actually run a function called myPetDog, because this is type function, and it remembers the name dog when it was created. It can be run independently. So watch this. So I'm running myPetDog. Here, let me just get rid of the exclamation point. That was me messing around a little bit. Okay, I'm going to do it again. So now you can see it I have run my pet dog down here, and I have sent it the parameters, rec, small, and 4, and it remembers dog. So it says my pet is a dog, it is small, and has 4 legs. I can do the same thing now with my pet cat. I'm going to create a function called my pet cat by calling my factory function and sending a kitty, and then I'm going to run my new function, my pet cat, with the parameters that it requires. And it says my pet is a kitty. It is huge and has 3 legs. So I am utilizing my pet cat as a factory function. So I can create as many functions as I want, and each will take on the abilities of the inner function here. Again, this is a bit confusing. I just wanted to show it to you so you're aware of it, because you might run into it at some point, or you might want to try to utilize it or play with it a little bit. There's nothing in the assignments that requires you to do this week, so if it's just weird and confusing, don't worry about it. That's all I have for this week. As always, these slides are available in Blackboard. The slides that I've used in this video are available in Blackboard under the discussion board, and they're also available at my GitHub repo that I share every week.